Hello and welcome to the Interactive and Immersive HQ. My name is Marco and I'm really excited because I'm new to the team and this is my first video here. So let me introduce myself just really quick before we move to the tutorial. A couple years ago, I studied media concepts in Germany, and as soon as I found out about TouchDesigner, I didn't do anything else anymore. So many sleepless nights experimenting and even some little exhibitions later. I'm now in Barcelona and doing a master program in digital art and creative technology to get even deeper into the whole immersive media scene. So if you're in Barcelona and you want to meet up to geek out about TouchDesigner or something, write me a message on Instagram. It should be linked down there. And that's enough of me. Let's dive into the project. This is an audio reactive instancing setup. It has this kind of mandala look here, but you can also change it easily to different forms. So down here, you can see it in 3D space. It's actually not that complex. And we use this mesh component here as an instancing base. And you can easily change it to something different, and get really interesting effects out of it. So, you can just play around with it later here. And of course, you can also change, I'm just going to put that back. Of course, you can change the number of instances. It's really easy, controllable here. And we are just transforming this mesh into CHOP world, and we will work on the channels a little bit and replace some and create new ones. Actually, just 3. We will replace the TZ channel and use patterns to create a rotation and scale channel as well, before we use it as an instancing source on this circle here. After that, just add some post effects, add some color, which you can of course change later, and use feedback edge to make it glow a little bit. And that's it. So let's start from scratch. I'm going to delete everything here. And maybe just for the beginning, I like to use like a split window. So just on the top right here, you can split your window left and right. And then you can split it again, top and bottom. The top one will be my top viewer, and the bottom one, the geometry viewer. So let me put that to the side a little bit. Okay. So we start with a circle SOP. This is a SOP that we will instance later. So we'll have many of these circles. That's why we scale the radius down to something really small, maybe like 0.04. Okay, just plug it into a geometry comp. Easy. Get some more space here. And we will also need a render setup. So let me just create a render top here. Render, I need a camera. So need a light. And we can also assign a constant material already to the geometry. All right. Let's also add an RGB key for black background and add a null. Activate the output here. Okay. Now we need a mesh that we will use as instancing source. So, and I'm going to use the mesh generator from the palette, which you can just open here on the bottom left, on the top left. So just going to drag and drop this in here, close it again. Let's add a null. And use sub to chop. Also add a null again. And this is a chop that we will use to instance. So let's go to the instancing page here, turn on instancing, and just drag and drop this operator as a default instance operator. We can use tx, ty, and tz already. And yeah, that looks already more interesting than just our circle. Let's just change this here to the first input. And now we will create a constant chop. And with this constant chop, we can drive the number of instances. So let's put 50 here and just reference this value here to the rows and the columns of this mesh. And now if we change it, we get more circles instanced, and of course if you go down it's less. I just leave it at 50 for now. And yeah, maybe just a little explanation. So what is happening now, on each point of this geometry, we can just go and make these points visible, display options, points. On each of these points is now one of these circles here. So yeah, that's actually instancing. It's very easy and yeah, very cool method to get some nice visuals really quick. All right, let's maybe also, let's add a transform here already so we can rotate it towards the camera. Rotate the x-axis 90 degrees. And yeah, we already have that kind of mandala looking full of circles here. Now let's change the TZ channel here. And we can just create a new one using a patternCHOP. And here it is important that our new channel, which we will call TZ, has the same amount of samples. So right now it has 1000, you see here, length 1000, but it has to match the sample length of the original source, which is 2500. And instead of just writing 2500 now here, we can use an Python expression, a really easy one. So just copy it, OP, open brackets, quotation marks, and the name of the operator that we want to use. So it's sub21, quotation marks, close the brackets. And then we want the number of samples. So we just write dot num samples. And as you see, we have now 2500 here. So even if we change this now, it's automatically adapting the new sample length. Yeah, we'll put that back to 50 here. All right. How can we use it now? Actually, let's add a null here and move it back a little bit. Okay, and if we want to replace now this TZ channel, the original one, with our new one, we can add a merge, insert a merge here, and change duplicate names to replace first with last. That way only the last channel that we add will be here. So, and as you can see, it changed already our instancing setup. It's a little bit boring because it's not moving. So if you change the face here of our patternCHOP, you can see it starts to move. So maybe let's just put abs time dot seconds times 0.5 for now, and it's automatically moving. But we want to move it to our music, so we need some audio first. Let's add an audio file in and also an audio device out. So I'm just going to turn the volume down here. So, and we want to use some of that audio data to drive our face. So we can open the palette again, and under tools, you can find this audio analysis. You can just drag and drop it, connect our audio file into it, move it back a little bit. And let's activate low, mid, and high. So, and to see which channels or what for data we get out, just add null here. And yeah, as you can see, we have now 3 channels giving out data. We can already insert a lag chop here to smoothen it out. Yeah, so that our animation is not so harsh later on. All right, so let's add a select and let's use the load channel. Also add a speed channel, speed chop. This way we get a value that's always increasing. And some more space again. Add a null. So, and this we can use now as a reference. We can reference this value here on our face. So, and now when I turn on the music, you see every time there's the bass kicking, all the circles are moving, but they're also stopping when there's no bass, and that looks a little bit choppy. So we can fix that by adding a math. Insert the math operator here. And under multi-range, we can pre-add abs time.seconds times maybe 0.1. Yeah, and this way we get a little bit smoother animation here. Okay, inside our pattern chop, where is it here? We can play with a couple of parameters. Maybe you can adjust the number of cycles here to get different looks. Now I'm just gonna put it to 0.2, and maybe we can also play around with the taper a little bit. So what is that actually doing? We can see it here in 3D on the top right, on the bottom right. So it's kind of stretching out the values for our TZ axis. And yeah, I'm just going to leave it to 1 and 3. Okay, but we can also see it kind of looks weird here in the center. And we can work on that by inserting a sort chop behind our mesh. And you can play around with the point sort here to get different looks. But I want to use this one here. It kind of looks a little bit more clean. But you can also feel free to play around with all these values here. Okay. A little recap. What have we done so far? So we are using this mesh here to drive instances of this circle, which is all here in our geometry. And we replaced the original TZ channel with a new one, which is made from a pattern chop. And this is driven by audio data. Okay, what's next? We can create 2 more channels for the rotation and for the scale to get even more interesting effects. Okay, for that, we can add two more patternCHOPs. And again, it's important that we have the same sample length. So we can just copy the expression, use it here, name this one rotate, make a copy, name the other one scale. Okay, so also add a null here. Null. And plug it into the merge. So then we go to our geometry and we can use the rotate value on XYZ rotation. Right now nothing is happening, but we are about to change it. So we can again add a select, but this time we are going to use the midtones, so only use the mid channel. The speed again. And null. And we're going to reference this value on the patternCHOP face for our rotation. So you can just activate the viewer here and drag and drop it onto the face. Yeah, still nothing is happening. This is because we only get values from -1 to 1. And well, that's not a lot if we only rotate it 2 degrees. So let's insert a math and change the range from 0, 1 to 0. And let's try 180. Okay. I think we can also, let's just increase the gain on the midtones and also add, okay, it's maybe a little bit too much. Oh yeah, it kind of looks interesting. Then next is for our scale channel. We use the select again. This time we're going to choose the high values here. For that we don't need a speed chop. Just add a null. Let's use that to again drive our face. Oh yeah, and I forgot. We can also, of course, play around here in the pattern for the rotation. Maybe let's decrease the number of cycles here to 0.5. And for the scale, oh yeah, first we have to plug it into our merge. Go to our geometry, use it for XYZ scale. Well, it's a little bit harsh and quick, so maybe we can also, what can we do here? Let's maybe change the taper to 2 and we leave the number of cycles to 1. This is also a little bit choppy. We can actually smoothen out the value inside the audio analysis already. So let's go to high and high smooth. Just, yeah, that looks already nicer. Put it on maximum. We can also smoothen out the mid-range a little bit for the rotation. Okay, and now our instances, they're moving, they're rotating, and they're changing the size. I think that looks already pretty cool. Yeah, again, you can anytime use a different mesh here, or you can also add any SOP that you want. But yeah, I can really recommend this mesh generator here to get some really cool and interesting effects. So I can just play around with that. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave it again. Okay, now we can actually add some color. For that, let's create a ramp top. And for the resolution, we need to reference again the value of our constant here that we set in the beginning, so that it automatically adapts to the number of instances. Put that back to 50 here. We can let's change it to circular, extend left mirror, and now you can just add any color you like. So let's maybe put some yellow and some orange here for now. Okay, and this ramp, we're going to use it on the second instancing page as the color operator. So just drop it here and set R, G, and B. And voila, we have already some color. Maybe we can also just quickly animate the face here with abs, time, seconds. Maybe it's a little bit quick, times 0.3. Okay, I think it looks already more interesting. Yeah, it's moving, rotating, scaling, and it has some color. And let's maybe add some glow. So insert after the render a composite top and change the operation to add. And again, we're using the palette here. Let's look for the feedback edge under image filters. We can just drag and drop the feedback edge. Close it again. And insert the render. We can play with the values here a little bit. Maybe let's blur it. So set the blur source to 30. Blur feedback maybe also like to something like 30. And here the source gain. You can like make it brighter or less bright. So I'm just going to leave it here around 0.34. And yeah, that's it already. This is our audio reactive instancing setup here. Let me turn up that volume here again for the audio. And yeah, now feel free to play around with here with the input mesh. You can also play around with these patternCHOPs here. Maybe change the number of cycles here. Play with the taper. Whatever, you can feel free to explore. And yeah, make your own out of it. Alright, thanks everyone, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.
Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you like our YouTube content, I highly recommend you check out the Interactive and Immersive HQ Pro. The HQ Pro is the only comprehensive educational resource and community for immersive design, TouchDesigner, and creative tech pros. In the HQ Pro trainings, we cover almost any topic you can think of, and we go way more in depth than we do in our YouTube tutorials. We have a private group where Matthew Reagan, myself, and our other industry veteran and pioneer teachers answer your questions every single day. If that sounds cool, click the link in the description to learn more. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more free TouchDesigner and immersive content.